Hello and welcome back. In this video we'll show the difference between a rational and an irrational number. First thing we want to do is define what a rational number is. It's any number that can be expressed in the form of a over b, where both a and b are integers. An irrational number is one that cannot be expressed this way. Irrational numbers do one of two things. Let's say we have the number 3/4. If we were to divide that out into its decimal equivalent, we get 0.75. A rational number will terminate. We also said that it would do one of two things. So one way is it'll either terminate, or when we divide, let's say 1/3 out, we get a 0.33 repeating. We can then say that it will repeat. So rational numbers will either terminate or repeat, but they won't do both. They can't do both. And an irrational number, when it's in its decimal form, will do neither. An example there would be pi. We know that pi is approximately equal to 3.14, but the numbers for pi, the decimal values, just keep going on and on and on. Let's say we take something like the square root of 5, which is a non-perfect square. The square root of 5 is approximately equal to 2.236079778, and it keeps going on and on and on and on. So the square root of 5 would also be an irrational number. Now don't get that confused with something like this. If I did the square root of, let's say, 25, which we know is 5, that terminates. Or if I did the square root of, let's say, 1.44, which comes out to 1.2, both of these are terminating decimals, so they are actually considered rational numbers. So the easiest way to tell if a number is rational or irrational is to look at its decimal form. Rational numbers, here's the breakdown of the real number system. It comes in two categories, rational and irrational. Natural numbers are your counting numbers, your 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Whole numbers just include the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And integers include whole numbers and their opposites. So if I have 0, 1, 2, 3, then the opposites would be -1, -2, and -3, and of course they continue in that pattern infinitely. Now we've got natural numbers. They are a subset of their own, and whole numbers contain natural numbers. That's a subset, and integers contain whole numbers and rational numbers. And they're all part of the rational number set. Now we have other numbers that are not natural, whole, or integers are still considered rational, like our fractions, like 3/4 or 1 2/3. Or let's say the square root of 2.25. These are all rational numbers. So anything that has a fraction or decimal will be outside of the grouping of integers, whole numbers, or natural numbers. Irrational numbers include things like pi and any kind of square root of a non-perfect square. And irrationals are not limited to positive numbers only. If I did the square root of, let's say, 50 and put a negative out in front, that would still be considered an irrational number.